Hello, my name is Mrs. Martin. Today I'm going to discuss how to factor trinomials and how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. Let's get started. You may recall how to multiply two binomials. Let's multiply 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. We will do this by using the FOIL method. 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x times 3 is 6x, 1 times x is x, and 1 times 3 is 3. So after we collect like terms, the end result is 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. As you can see, when we multiply two binomials, the result is a trinomial. We are going to factor trinomials today. When factoring a trinomial, it's kind of like unmultiplying the trinomial. So when we factor a trinomial, the end result is two binomials. So in our example, if we were to factor 2x squared plus 7x plus 3, the end result would be 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. The standard form of a trinomial is written as ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers. The factored form of a trinomial is written as the product of two binomials. So when we factor a trinomial, we are to determine what terms are to go in the first and last of the two binomials. I'm going to show you how to do this by using the 6-step method. First, we're going to make sure our polynomial is written in standard form. So let's start off with ax squared plus bx plus c. And we know when we factor a trinomial, the result is two binomials, so we can write out the two binomials. The second step is to multiply a times c. The product of a times c is just ac. Next, step 3, we're going to find two factors whose product is a times c, but whose sum is b, which is our middle term. So let's just say the factors are m and n. That means m times n is equal to ac, and m plus n is equal to b. Step 4, we're going to put our factors over a, which is the leading coefficient. Step 5 is to reduce if we need to. Next, which is step 6, we're going to write our two binomials, and we're going to start from the bottom up. So we're going to write the two binomials as ax plus m times ax plus n. And that's it. Let's do an example. Let's try x squared plus 11x plus 30. Let's write out the coefficients. A equals 1, b equals 11, and c equals 30. Next, we're going to multiply a times c, which is 1 times 30. 1 times 30 is 30. Then, we're going to find the factors of 30. The factors of 30, whose sum is 11. So let's choose 5 and 6. 5 plus 6 is 11, which is our middle coefficient. B is 11. Now that we figured out which factors to use, we will write our factors over the leading coefficient. In our example, the leading coefficient is 1. Thus, we have 5 over 1 and 6 over 1. Now we're ready to write our two binomials. We will start from the bottom up. Thus, our two binomials are x plus 5 times x plus 6. Okay, now let's check. Just to make sure, x plus 5 times x plus 6 results in x squared plus 11x plus 30. We will do this using the FOIL method. X squared plus 6x plus 5x plus 30 equals x squared plus 11x plus 30. Okay, great. This checks out. Let's do another example. Let's try 3x squared minus 7x minus 20. Let's write out our coefficients. A equals 3, B equals negative 7, and C equals negative 20. Next, we're going to multiply A times C, which is 3 times negative 20, which is negative 60. Then, we're going to find the products of negative 60, whose sum is equal to our middle coefficient, which is negative 7. 5 plus 12 is not negative 7, but 5 minus 12 is negative 7, and 5 times negative 12 is negative 60. So 5 and negative 12 are the two factors we will use. Next, we write 5 and negative 12 over the leading coefficient A, which in our case is 3. Then we reduce. That results in 5 over 3 and negative 4 over 1. So our two binomials are going to be 3x plus 5 times x minus 4. Okay, let's check just to make sure our two binomials result in the original trinomials. So when we multiply, we get 3x squared minus 12x plus 5x minus 20. And then, after collecting like terms, we get 3x squared minus 7x minus 20. Great, it checks out. Now we're ready to solve quadratic equations by factoring. The standard form of a quadratic equation is written as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All equations must be in this form to solve. Also, we'll be solving based off of the theorem that says if a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals 0. This means that if two numbers are multiplied together and the product is 0, then one of the two numbers must be 0 in order for the product to be 0. Okay, let's try an example. Let's try 2x squared plus x minus 15 equals 0. Okay, first we have to factor. We have to factor the trinomial 2x squared plus x minus 15. So, writing out our coefficients and multiplying a times c, which is 2 times negative 15, means that we are finding the factors of negative 30, whose sum is 1, which is our middle coefficient. The leading coefficient is 2, so we'll write 6 over 2 and negative 5 over 2. After reducing, we end up with 3 over 1 and negative 5 over 2. Now we're ready to write our two binomials, which is x plus 3 times 2x minus 5 equals 0. Our next step is to use the theorem above. So we're going to set each factor equal to 0 so that we can solve for the variable x. Okay, x plus 3 equals 0 is our first equation. The second equation will be 2x minus 5 equals 0. Subtracting 3 from both sides results in x equals negative 3. Adding 5 to both sides is 2x equals 5. Then we divide by 2. So x equals negative 3, and x equals 5 over 2.